Hello travelers, Boardman21 here, and today we got our last day of news for new stuff coming in the next patch, and that is the one-shot and lost catches, which we'll go over on the forum post and read through and kind of talk about it a bit. Remember that patch releases on Thursday for 0.9.2, where we get to start enjoying all this new stuff. So welcome to the final pre-patch blog post before the full release of patch notes for the Runes of Power. Today we're going to be looking at another new encounter mechanic we're adding to last Epoch in just 3 days. As mentioned in Rune Prison's blog post, we wanted to improve the moment-to-moment feeling within the campaign as well as within Echoes. To bolster this, we're adding two types of caches to the game. One-shot caches, which can be found during the campaign, and lost caches, which will be found in the Monolith of Fate. One-shot caches. Have you ever thought to yourself, I love exploring, but sometimes I wish there was a bit more to find while exploring through Echoes, through maps, through the campaign? Well, we're introducing one-shot caches. These caches are hidden throughout various campaign zones. You won't be able to find them on the beaten path either, so if you want to find them, you're going to have to make sure that you're exploring areas of the map that you don't normally go to. When you begin to approach a one-shot cache, you'll be able to see the cache appear as an icon on your mini-map to let you know the treasure is near. And here you can see that it has the treasure, almost a unique icon, the same as if a unique drops on the map, and then you can see it drops a ton of items. One-shot caches, as the name implies, can only be opened for their specific rewards once per character, but when opened provide greater rewards than a normal chest and always have a guaranteed drop of either a personal item or other helpful leveling items. Personal items are handcrafted items which belong to another entity that left them behind. They have fixed stats on them and boost special personal affixes. These personal affixes cannot drop naturally, define the name of the item, and can be identified by their pale yellow color. Personal items also cannot be crafted, so you'll need to be able to find the cache that has the personal item for you. And here you can see an example of one. It's a two-handed staff that has a dodge rating, but it also has a chance to gain Dust Shroud when you use a melee attack that hits, and you'll notice that this is not rogue specific, so this is opening up some affixes that currently can only be played on certain classes to possibly land on other items used by other classes, which is pretty cool. However, in one of the questions I asked in the comments below, you won't find this in the end game. These items will just be the ones you find during the campaign, so we're not going to see a lot of end game items utilizing that at the moment. Prevent missing out on one-shot caches when playing in a party. The cache will only be opened for you by another player if you are also nearby. If you're further away, it will remain safely closed for you to explore it yourself when you are ready. You can always find the same one-shot caches in every playthrough, so once you know where to find one, containing a particular item to help you through the campaign, you'll know where to go every time to continue to get that item. Lost caches are similar to one-shot caches, however these will randomly appear in the Monolith Echoes and do not have any limits on finding or opening them. Our goal here is to improve the feeling of each potential echo by adding random events where you can find fun little rewards, perhaps stumbling upon them, or for the avid explorers out there, a reward for your efforts of exploring through the whole map. Do keep in mind not all echoes will contain a lost cache. When found tucked away within Echoes, lost caches will grant a bunch of powerful items themed around the specific lost cache. There are many types of lost caches to find, as well as several tiers to each type of lost cache. For example, you may find an explorer's cache which hoards keys, a lost thief's cache which contains jewelry, ranged weapons, and daggers, or perhaps a thief's lord's cache which contains a greater version of the rewards from the lost thief's cache. Monolith of Fate improvements. There's some new things that they're changing, just little changes in the Monolith of Fate, and I think a few of these are pretty huge for how it's going to feel going through it. So alongside adding new mechanics and things to find in Monoliths, we're making some changes to the Echoes themselves to improve the experience. Our goal here is to make Echoes feel more consistent in navigation, feel better when clearing, add a bit more variety, and reduce the feeling of getting a bad map. So the first thing that changed with the performance improvements they've been making, they're feeling confident about the first change being increasing mob density. On average, this works out to about a 10% increase in mob density. However, in combination with adjusting mob spawn locations, we believe this can help with the feeling of density without too much of a performance impact. So putting mobs closer, kind of making the area feel smaller, and then also actually giving a percentage boost of density is going to make it feel like there's just more mobs in the map and make it so that you're running into them more often. The second change they're making is adding more possible player spawn locations. This was a quick change that can help make maps feel more variable by creating different routes around the maps. And then the third thing they're changing is that maps that had a lot of dead ends, they're removing or making new connections. So by either removing many of the dead ends or by adding additional connections to make those maps less punishing on path choice and reduce backtracking. The final change is we're reducing the size of some of the larger maps. This means like Alpine Falls is now about 1/3 the size that it previously was. So easier to go around maps, not running into as many dead ends, not backtracking as much, more mob density, and of course performance always getting better. It means that echoes should feel a lot better on that side of things, as well as with the new random encounters between exiled mages and caches. They should be a lot more fun than they currently are. And that's going to be it for this update. Let me know what you guys think is the best change that you think you're going to be happiest for, and join us tomorrow when we do patch notes. As always, stay safe, travelers.